Woke up this morning, had high dopamine. Yesterday I did the same thing. I think I've been off Risperdal about 2 weeks and a half, maybe. And of course, I'd only been on it for um, about a week and 2 weeks, maybe, after getting off Zyprexa. So it wasn't like I had a lot of it in my system. But anyway, I've had those 2 days. Uh, Yeah, I've had every diagnosis. I started with schizophrenia, and 7 years later, they said it was bipolar. 14 years later, well, 17 years later, they said it's depression and anxiety. Um, and then 8 months ago, a doctor said it was schizophrenia. And it was manifesting itself like schizophrenia, but it wasn't. Um, he called me schizoaffective. So I'm bipolar and schizophrenic. And I noticed some things coming off the drug, um, that there's a bipolar effect in schizophrenia. If you've got, well, let's just say you've got these thoughts of evil, demonic, or whatever that's driving you, and then you've got these other thoughts of beauty and peace. This place you go to that's like escaping, you know. That's kind of bipolar. It is bipolar. And it's driven by the same psychological things. Um, my wound started when I was 1 to 5 years old. I realized this just less than a week ago. My dad came home from Korean War, and I remember 1 year old. I hit him over the head with a bottle when he started kissing mom when he got in the car. He got angry, and when I got home, when we got home, it was our first apartment in Aiken, South Carolina. Ah, there's the mail. Uh, they put me in the playpen, and then they went off. Well, I just realized why they went off. But my dad, I did other things. It was like, I was 4 years old. He bought this real nice train set for me for Christmas, and somehow it got broke. And he got real angry, and he locked me up in my room for a day. And then there was another event that occurred, and by that time I knew something in my mind was not right. I was 5 years old, and I just remember thinking something's wrong. But anyway, what it was, this is real stupid too. And I got another stupid thing that I did after that. Um, was bike riding, little tiny bikes, trikes, and the kid that was with me said, "I bet I can." My dad was an accountant, becoming a CPA, and one of his clients was over, had a Cadillac, real nice brand new Cadillac, and the little kid said, I bet I can throw rocks closer to the roof of that car than you can." And of course, no, I can't. Uh, anyway, I broke out the windshield. I got, you know, Dad tore my behind up with a belt and put me in a room. Put me in my room. He had a temper problem through his life, and I guess, well, anyway, that was an emotional wound, and I could go in details about it, but um, I named my first book, which I haven't. I wrote 60 pages to it a long time ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, called The Invisible Prison. Well, that was my room that Dad put me in. I didn't know why I named it Invisible Prison. It just sounded good, you know. So anyway, what I'm working on is a diet for schizophrenics, bipolar. I think works for anybody, but specifically schizophrenics. I've been reading up on foods that are very good for neurotransmitter regulation beyond just eating a healthy diet. And there are supplements you can take too. I don't know how much to take of each one. When I woke up this morning on an empty stomach, I took NAC and C, and my dopamine levels came down norepinephrine form because C makes norepinephrine in your brain, and I felt really good, and almost ecstatic. It was too much, 5 grams of C and 1,800 milligrams of NAC. You can do other things like Barcopa, which it says it actually balances it. So I'm going to buy that from Amazon and try that out because apparently I do have high dopamine. But I'm going to develop a diet, and I'll talk about it here later on. And bipolar can be schizophrenic. Schizophrenic can be bipolar. They're on a continuum. I always was told all mental illnesses are on a continuum. Well, they are. They all boil down to various degrees of emotional wounds. And schizophrenics have it the worst because they've been banged up a lot. And it's deeper. If somebody has a little bit of depression, they don't have, of course there's deep depression too. I don't want to belittle that. But there's just varying degrees, and then people just have anxiety. They've had some small emotional wounds that they haven't uncovered. And, it's Freudian, really. I mean, the concept is Freudian. The way I've solved it, I'm working with my friend. He's got multiple personalities. I've helped him. His doctor's helping him because I told him what to tell the doctor. And he discovered where all these personalities were coming from. And except for one, he says this one only comes around a little bit, but there's only two. It was either him or his mother. And most of them are his mother. She's a strong, domineering Christian woman, really a good woman, and he loves her, and she loved him. She was beat up by her husband who worships Satan and wrote pentagrams and got inside him and all that and took it out against him. Against her, and it's a long, long thing. But he's beginning to realize why he sings high pitched songs because his mother loved it. Natalie Cole and other things. So it's all logical, and it all boils down to basic little building blocks. It's not it's complicated, but it's it boils down to little tiny basics. That's all it is, and they get confused. Satan is the author of confusion, and he bangs you up, leaves you alone, lets you fester. You get to where you can't function in the real world because your inner world has gone somewhere else. So anyway, I'll be bringing you the schizophrenic diet. I don't know how long it'll take, but that's something I'm working on. Have a good day.